If there's one thing that's clear in the Book of Boba Fett, it's that the talented team behind the show is committed to putting the Star Wars franchise under the microscope. Chapter 1 ends with the Tusken Raiders accepting Boba after he saves a youngling from a huge sand monster, but Chapter 2 explores their dynamic even further. The second chapter also makes a point of introducing new threats, as well as tying the series into the wider Star Wars galaxy. Basically, Boba has a lot to deal with as the new crime lord of Tatooine. The chapter kicks things off with Boba and Fennec interrogating one of the mysterious would-be assassins from Chapter 1, even pretending to throw him to the Rancor that used to live under Jabba's palace. It's a clever fake-out since it gets the information Boba and Fennec want without actually killing their prisoner.
I was sent by the mayor! The mayor sent me! Let me out!
He comes from the Order of the Nightwind, a brand new faction in the Star Wars universe. They're essentially assassins for hire, and according to Boba's prisoner, the mayor, Mok Shaiz, is the one who sent them to take down the bounty hunter. But the mayor claims he has no motive, and from there, the chapter takes some interesting turns. It's not really surprising that Boba is having to go up against different factions to establish dominance at Tatooine, but one of the families he should have expected to deal with is the Hutts. Yes, Jabba the Hutt's family arrives to stake their claim on his territory. Two unnamed Hutts arrive to greet Boba as he's leaving the sanctuary, noting that they're Jabba's twin cousins. It's understandable why they want to retake their cousin's criminal empire, since the Grand Hutt Clan Council was wiped out by Darth Vader in the early years of the Galactic Civil War. Taking up Jabba's role would be a great way of putting the Hutts back into one of the galaxy's most powerful positions. The twins' arrival also raises questions over the whereabouts of Jabba's son, Rada, last seen in Star Wars The Clone Wars. Obviously, the twins aren't alone in their claim for Jabba's throne, bringing with them some Wookiee muscle as backup. The Wookiee in question is none other than Black Krrsantan, a bounty hunter who frequently worked with Jabba before his death, so it isn't surprising that he's continued to work for the Hutt clan. He got into a tense standoff with Boba Fett, so it'll be interesting to see if the two come to blows in a future chapter. Once the chapter shifts back into the past with Boba's Tusken adventures, it starts to explore more about the Sand People and the persecution they face from Offworlders. On Tatooine, the Pike Syndicate is using the Dune Sea as a trade route for transporting the illegal drug spice, which comes from the mines on Kessel, as seen in Solo: A Star Wars Story. The gangsters protect their product by shooting the Tusken Raiders with rifles, and Boba decides to help them take back their land. After all, this is a man who has secretly longed for acceptance ever since the death of his father, Jango Fett, at the hands of Mace Windu in Star Wars Episode II: Attack of the Clones. Boba even tried to assassinate the Jedi when he was still a youngling in a Clone Wars episode from Season 2. Once the bounty hunter teaches the Tuskens how to ride speeder bikes, they assault a train and bring it crashing down. Fett makes a deal with the Pikes that they'll pay a toll for using the Dune Sea trade route, and it's clear that he's a remarkably good negotiator. It's likely that this is where he gets the idea to take Jabba's throne for himself, because he knows the criminal syndicates are in disarray following the Hutt's death. After Boba helps the Tuskens get a fair price for the use of the Dune Sea route, they recognize that he's ready to become an honorary sand person. They invite him to take part in a transformative custom, which forces Boba to work through his insecurities. A lizard jumps up his nose and guides Boba through a hallucination where he's taken back to his time as a young boy living on the cloning planet of Kamino. It shows that he spent so much time isolated and alone, even when he was living with Jango. The vision hammers home the idea that if Boba continues living his solitary life, he'll die alone with nothing to show for it. This is why he willingly becomes one of the Tusken Raiders, donning some black robes for his desert life. Fett even carves his own Gaffy stick, which fans have already seen in The Mandalorian Chapter 14, when Temuera Morrison first physically appeared in the role. The chapter fleshes out the traditional customs of the Tusken Raiders more than Star Wars fans ever expected. However, given how much time the show is dedicated to the Tuskens, this could be a bad sign for the tribe. After all, we know Fett leaves them at some point because he goes on to meet Din Djarin. If they die at the hands of the Pike Syndicate or other criminals, perhaps Boba wants to control Jabba's empire to ensure more Tuskens aren't killed. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Looper videos about the Book of Boba Fett are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.